Hey everybody, Karyn Bryant here, and today I've got Natan Levy kicking back with me. He is facing Mike Davis at UFC Vegas 88. Natan, it has been way too long since we've seen you. First and foremost, how are you?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good, okay. So we haven't seen you fight since December of 22. How anxious are you to get back inside the octagon?
Yeah, it's been way too long, and I'm excited. I really can't wait to go in there and show how much I improved over this year. I wish I could have fought, but I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. Mike Davis is a really good opponent. I was wanting to climb towards that level of competition during the year, so I got there one way or another.
Nice. Well, let's talk about that. So you fought in December, and that was the same card as Wonder Boy and Kevin Holland, and then you were supposed to fight, right? But an opponent withdrew, and then you were kind of on the shelf for a bit.
So I was supposed to fight in March,
Yeah.
sorry, in April.
Right.
Um, Opponent was sick. Then in May, opponent missed weight by 7 pounds.
Oh yeah.
And then in September, everything seemed okay, but I got kind of sick in camp. And then during my blood work, they found like my blood platelets were very low.
Okay.
So my blood couldn't clot properly. Um, they kind of got alarmed. They pulled me from the fight. Basically, in hindsight, my number is already pretty low, lower than the average. And then when I got sick, it just got cut in half.
Yeah.
And it seemed very bad, but maybe it was bad, but just for a few days because I got over the bug I had.
And so then everything went back to normal, and so it's not like you have like a low platelet count going forward.
So they discovered that I have a pretty low number,
Yeah.
but not anything that's like that should prevent me from fighting.
Okay.
It's just that when I'm sick and mine is getting cut in half, then it's getting too low.
Right. Right. Okay. Well, I'm glad it's nothing overly serious. Like not that that's nothing, but when somebody gets
No big deal.
taken out of a fight for medical reasons, and you're sort of like, oh no, I hope he's okay. So let's talk about this. You just said though that it gave you time to work on things and to improve on things. So what is it that you felt like you wanted to spend the most time working on?
I really wanted, we always say you need to work on everything, right? But for me, I feel like working on everything a little bit separately and not always mixing everything together. Like the good thing about Vegas is that you don't have, and not a lot of other places, is that people here, the coaches know how to mix everything together really well. And then you get like a complete MMA fighters that know how to fight. Like fighting on the cage, that doesn't exist in any martial art, right?
Right.
But in mixed martial arts, the whole is greater than the it sums, right? So than the sum of its parts.
That's
So
the Gestalt approach. Yes, I know that.
yeah. So basically, there's a lot of different things that we do here and you don't do anywhere else. But I really wanted to get better in jiu-jitsu, in wrestling, in Muay Thai. And since when I started training MMA, I started MMA. It was karate and then straight to MMA. And I did get, of course, a lot better in all those styles, but I kind of wanted to really focus on different things for a different period of times and kind of give my all to one art for a couple months and then switch it up.
Nice. Well, that's interesting too, because you're right though. You could be a great wrestler and you could be a great striker, but if you don't know how to put those things together and make those transitions into putting everything together, then that's where you can lose the fights, or in those moments of transition.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So you have been based in Vegas for quite some time. Have you still been keeping up with the kind of the regular crew? I know in the past you've worked with Strickland and Chris and those guys. Like, who have you been working with for this camp?
Yeah, I'm always around those guys, but they're a little bit bigger than me, so I don't mess with them too much.
Yeah.
Uh, so many 45ers and 55ers at Extreme. I've been training with my Muay Thai coach here in Vegas. It's like training in Thailand, but here in town.
Nice.
Coach Giff always with me. I've been training with Mike Pyle a lot for this camp. And, as far as fighters, Julian Rosa, Kai Kamaka, Mateos, I got Eli and Shimon with me, my little brothers.
Nice.
So just a lot of training partners and good work every day.
Yeah, it's an excellent environment for you to be in, certainly. I'm curious how you feel so far about your progression. I'm guessing you didn't want to take over a year off. You're a young fighter, but how do you feel like everything is coming along? Because I do feel like, wasn't there somebody saying like, the folks at William Morris like really like Natan and he's their favorite fighter, and like there was a kind of pressure on you to be good right away, I felt like.
I mean, I have this pressure on myself. I don't need it from anywhere else. But yeah, I definitely would like to be more active. I know some things are out of our control. I understand that like two fights weren't my fault.
Yeah.
Then third fight, I guess it's my fault. Like my blood messed up. But I get sick or somebody messes up. I would love to fight like way sooner after something like that happens. Like I feel like okay, I'm not fighting 4 times a year as I would like, but if something happens and it's out of my control, maybe rebook me for a couple months later and not
Yeah.
5, 6, 7 months later.
Yeah. Yeah, that's frustrating. I really do feel for you guys. And I know sometimes when they'll say like, oh, you can be in, a backup position for something, like it's hard because you guys, you need to stay ready. And it is nice to be able to slide into make short notice opportunities sometimes or that kind of stuff. But yeah, they don't come around a lot. And there's a lot of guys in your division that are going to ask to get to take fights and stuff. So when you do look at your matchup though, with Mike, what do you think you have to worry about the most with him?
I think, first round is going to be the most dangerous, and he's got very fast hands. Um, Obviously, super well rounded, good at everything, but I think his hands are, what makes him a special fighter. As far as kicking, I'm not too concerned. Wrestling is good, and grappling, like jiu-jitsu is good too. Everybody's good at everything. Everybody's tough. What makes him special is boxing for sure. What makes me special, I think, more things, but we'll see on Saturday.
Well, I know too. If people look at your Insta, you've been teaching a lot of things as well, and like that's something like sometimes when you teach things, you even get better at them yourself. I know that seems like sort of obvious, right? But have you found that in some of these videos that you're making and teaching other things? I know you've taught other parts in your life as well, but like, does the teaching part, did that fill a hole for you while you couldn't compete, or did it make you level up in other ways you didn't expect?
Yeah, I mean, teaching is like my love from before fighting and how martial arts changed my life. I like to try and give that to other people. So I've always like been teaching. Now I got an opportunity to teach. I got like a Jewish and Israeli community group that I teach once a week for my community. And it feels great. And teaching is learning a second time. So yeah, you definitely get sharper, review the moves. Seeing people mess up the technique kind of makes you understand sometimes why it works and when it doesn't. And yeah, I love it.
That's true. That is actually really true. Sometimes watching, you're like, oh, yeah, that's why that doesn't work. Yeah, that's. Well, obviously, you mentioned your community, and I don't want to like end on a down note or anything, but obviously there's a lot going on for you at home in Israel. And am I mistaken? You were actually home for a while over there, and you were sort of witness to a lot of the terrible things that are going on. Is that true?
Yeah, I was 15 miles away from the massacre on October 7th. And in Israel, it's everything is small, everything is close. So I was very close, and things were developing while I was there. And yeah,
It's such a hard situation, and I really feel for you. I feel for everybody in this situation. Are you like, have you, gosh, are people okay though? Like, are you, is your family okay?
My family is safe.
Yeah.
I have friends who have been injured. I have kids from my neighborhood who have been abducted and taken hostage. Um, so, it's not great.
No.
I think any country in the world, especially in America, when there's a mass shooting, I think we all know, the shooters are the bad guys, and we all condemn them. If anybody, any child gets abducted, taken hostage, I think we know this child is innocent, and we should be on its side. It's funny to even say, but only when it's Jews, only when it's in Israel, then the teenagers that are running from mass shooters in a music festival. Oh wait, what is the context? Maybe they were right to shoot them. Maybe like this doesn't exist anywhere else. And same for kids getting taken hostage away from their parents. The youngest one being at 9 months old, and now he's 14 months old, a baby. And people are like, yeah, but they're probably taking good care of him over there. Like, what are you talking about? The kid has been taken from his home. His family's been with his mother and his brothers, like only if to Jews, only in Israel. Then all of a sudden, people are wondering what is the context for abducting children.
Yeah, it's terrible, and I can't even begin to pretend to understand the generations of pain, between everything in your family, and I hope everything peacefully ends soon, because it's just really terrible. And it's a terrible thing to see, and it's a terrible thing to not be able to feel like you can do anything about it. It's really hard. I will say one thing I have noticed for you, at least on the personal level, when people attack you personally, you've been able to shut them down. Right, there was the troll that came to the gym, and you got to teach the troll a little something about what it's like to be a real fighter, huh?
Yeah, a little lesson.
Yeah, that must have been pretty satisfying, huh?
Yeah, but also it was kind of half crying the whole way, so
Yeah,
I couldn't get the full satisfaction.
yeah. Just because of, like, the whole situation was just so.
He was kind of being a bitch, and if he would have stood his ground a little bit longer, it would have been easier to beat him up. But
Yeah.
I don't really like beating up on the weak, and
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Well, I will say, yeah, I get that. I feel like there's a lot of frustration I have in my life, and there's some people that I'd really love to teach a lesson. But maybe if they were actually right in front of me and they were doing that, then I'd be like, well, yeah, I feel a little bad about it now. Well, listen, I'm excited to see you back in action. And I know it's been just way too long since we have seen you. So I hope that in the time that you have in the octagon, you're able to sort of show everything you're working on. And I hope that you have the kind of fight that you want. Like, do you have a prediction or an expectation of what this fight will be like?
really, expectations. You can never expect what's going to happen in there. I want to put on a great show, remind everybody why they should book me again ASAP after this.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to win. I believe I'm going to win. I'm coming in there to do everything in my power to win. And that's it. Now it's, we're going to do it and see what happens.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I'll be working that one. The main event, of course, is the big guys, Tuivasa versus Tybura. But it'll be fun to see you and Mike throwing down as well beforehand. So, listen, Natan, always great to see you, and wishing you the best. And I'll see you out in Vegas.
Thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Thank you for having me.